What's up, everybody? It's your Melody for another review, and today I'll be talking about my thoughts on the Netflix animated cartoon series, The Cuphead Show. And I want to do this review because, well, we already had 3 seasons, and a fourth one is coming up. So let's take a look at these 3 seasons before the fourth will show up anytime soon. So before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, do you owe the devil your soul? If so, well then, you better collect something or you better hide because the devil always get his pay. Unless you're a crazy pair of anthropomorphic cup brothers, you're safe. So yeah, if you don't know what the Cuphead Show is, based on the popular game with the same name by Studio MDHR, which came out in 2017, and I think last year, or yeah, I think it was around 2022 when the second game finally came out, Cuphead, the DLC, or Delicious Last Course came out, and that was a game people have been waiting since it was first teased back in 2017. It was a long time. So I think, if my guesses were correct, I think the fourth season might be around, maybe, if playing a little guess here, maybe like in the second game. Well, we had some interesting characters in the second game, like the villain, who we thought was the good guy, Chef Saltbaker, who was actually a power-hungry chef who wanted to make this powerful tart immortality. But of course, it has one ingredient that is very hard to get: a soul. Yeah, but continue with the show. As you know, the Cuphead Show is set in the 1930s world of Inkwood Isle. It's like a rubber hose cartoon, literally, which features our two favorite crazy goofballs, Cuphead and Mugman. Along with them is their caretaker and grandfather, Elder Kettle, who they live in a teapot-shaped cottage. Of course, the brothers' adventures throughout the Isle. They find into various issues, including meeting some familiar bosses from the game as well, including new characters. More specifically, the villain, the devil himself, who tries to get Cuphead's soul after he lost to a game called Soul Ball, which was in the first episode, which was Karn Evil. Which, of course, it was foiled by Cuphead and Mugman, literally. And after that, I think the show became so successful because the show captured that 1930s cartoon vibe. And the creators of the show, if I recall, I think they were, along with the guys behind Studio MDHR, based these cartoons on the Fleischer's cartoons. If you don't know, Fleischer is a famous animation studio, and it was the only competitive cartoon studio against Walt Disney when he was still, on the animation move before he became a success after Snow White. One of Fleischer's top famous cartoons were like Coco the Clown, along with Betty Boop, Popeye, who were their two popular ones, and later with the adventures of the Superman cartoons and Mighty Mouse, and many other Fleischer cartoons from the 30s, the 40s, until Paramount bought them out after the brothers Fleischers split due to a argument. But continue with Cuphead. Here we have the voice talents of True Valentino as Cuphead, Frank Dodaro as Mugman, Gray Delici as Miss Chalice, Johanna as Elder Kettle, Cosmos Surusin as Porkrind and Elephant, Wayne Brady as King Dice, Luke Millington as Drake. Luke Millington Drake as the Devil, Dave Wason as Henchman and Telephone, Chris Wilde as Ribby, and Rick Zeif as Croaks, If you don't know those two names, Ribbity and Croaks were two bosses at the first game of Cuphead, who will try to get the contracts from the devil. And fight Keith Ferguson as Bullboy and Andrew Morgado as Stickler. This character has to be the most annoying one. Like, excuse me, but these ties are none. That way is like, ugh. He's like an IRS agent. Ugh. The show was in development back in 2019. It was announced in Netflix that greenlit the series. Chad and Jared Mulderhauser from Studio MDHR are executive producers, along with CJ Kettler from King Features Syndicate, which, if you know what King Features Syndicate is, it's a American content distribution animation studio, consumer product license, and print syndication owned by the Hearst Communication, distributed over 150 comic strips, newspaper columns, editorial cartoons. And I heard this name before. I think they own Popeye, I think. Let me see. Let's see. King Syndicate. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. I got something here. It says here their most prominent ones were the comic strips like Blondie, Flash Gordon, Madrick the Magician, The Phantom, and Eugene the Jeep, and Popeye, which was added to Popeye as a trademark. Okay. I didn't know that. Cool. But continuing with Dave Watson and co-executive producer by Cosmo Ferguson, Clay Morrow and Adam Poloni are supervising directors. The series is animated by Lighthouse Studios, a Kilkenny-based division between Mercury Filmworks and Cartoon Saloon. And stop motion animation was provided by Screen Novelties in an effort to meet streaming service deadlines. The show production crew were unable to utilize hand-drawn animation like in the game, instead choosing to use puppet-based methods while also putting various elements to match the 1930s Rubberhold style. If you notice, there's some episodes where you notice, wait, wow, this looks so real, the background. Of course, what you see is an actual replica set. This is a process known as rotoscoping. And this was done, Fleischers were the ones who managed to do this technique, mostly with their Popeye cartoons. Mostly in the color ones, like, you see ones like Popeye meets Sinbad, Popeye and the 40 Thieves, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, and Popeye and Aladdin Magical Lamp. If you see the background, it looks so real. That's actually a model set. They use like a rotoscoping, which they rotate on a turntable and take a photo frame with the ink of the character right in the foreground, and the set in the background, like he's actually walking in an actual living model. Here, they did the same thing in the first episode. You might recognize one of them was in the cemetery where I don't believe in ghosts, when they walk in the graveyard. But you see the grounds of the graveyard look so real. That's actually a set. But actually, they nailed it pretty good. We'll talk about the episodes a little later. Let's continue here. Which, of course, the series was first revealed by Annecy International Animation Film Festival back in 2020. During the pandemic. Ugh. With the announcement that the show's music will become composed by Eagle Plum. As for the episodes, each season has, for season 1 they have 12, season 2 they have 13, and season 3, 11. With season 1 starting on February 18th of 2022, and season 2 in August 19th of that year, and November, including third season, with November of 2022. So they go February, August, November. So yeah, for season 1, we had the first episode with Carn Evil, which was the pilot, where Elder Kettle sends Cuphead and Mugman to paint the fence, of course. Mugman, being stupid, let's just say, loads of paint, a can full of paint, which you call boom. Well, had to get more paint. They found the CA Carnival, which Mugman sees the words Carnival, while becoming attached to Soul Ball, which is a skee ball game. With Cuphead going on a winning streak, until Mugman realized that the Carnival is really front for stealing souls, not other than the devil in Inkwell Hell. The devil, well, having a little musical number, turns out no hardly a soul being sucked because everybody there is watching Cuphead having a winning streak at the Soul Ball. Which of course the devil goes up, which of course everybody starts to freak out. That's when Cuphead Mugman sees and notices, hello. Which of course accidentally distracts Cuphead, which causes him to lose, which of course, yeah. Almost gets his soul sucked until Mugman saves his soul and they both get away from the devil, which of course, hey, once you hold a soul to the devil, you're fucked. Period. They start to have a little, let's say they keep running around until they manage to get the devil to destroy his own game by blasting the soul ball with his pitchfork, which of course calls all the souls to return back to their original bodies. Which of course, Mugman is so wanted for his soul. No, Cuphead. Well, it's actually pretty funny. And the second episode was called Baby Bottle, and this was a bit of a weird one. Of course, when Elder Kell goes to get his mustache waxed and warns the boys not to touch his favorite radio or fight. Yeah. After that, they break rule number 2, fight. And soon after, they hear a door knock and find a baby, known as Baby Bottle, which of course start taking care of the baby until Mugman takes to being a mama. But while Cuphead finds the baby unsettling and destructive. How destructive? Let's see. Start screwing around the house, and when they thought the baby escaped outside, nope, the little bastard locked them outside. And when they open the door, of course, the baby's true nature, they hear the baby causing mayhem with the radio, call his bad baby, which of course, the baby makes his face, his pissed off face, a mama. Literally. That's just the creepiest face ever. That baby starts to wreck the whole house. The baby's like, he tries to, until the baby gets to the radio, it's like, no. And he's like, eh? And so, boop. And the radio falls, the man has to catch it, but the baby I don't know what the baby had. I think it was a bat or a sledgehammer, and destroys the radio right there as the boy managed to save it. Soon, Elder Keldo arrives, pissed off, seeing the house destroyed, and of course, they tell the baby, but Elder Keldo didn't believe that the baby did until he picks up the baby, until the baby rips the mustache off his face. He calls him bad baby, and the baby made that face again, this time beating the shit out of Elder Keldo until the boys have to rescue him. And when they go back and try to confront the baby. They each are armed with a frying pan and a bat. No, Elder Keldo's armed with a bat, and they see the baby in his crib sleeping. Soon, that's what they did. The tree quickly dropped him off to another house, thus starting the cycle all over again. Jesus, so who's the original parents of that baby? Damn. Please tell me that baby's the Antichrist. Well, so the next episode is called Ruby and Croaks, which is feature the boys bicker over who sleep ate the whole Elder's ice cream, which of course Elder Cal gives them $5 to spend on more ice cream. Instead, the brothers discover a ferry boat club called the Fly Tribe, run by the argumentative frog brother Ruby Croaks. Remember, these were one of the bosses in the game. Which, of course, seeing that the club has free ice cream, they both try to get in, but of course, they're unable to pay the entry fee, which is $20. Damn, $20? Okay, here, shut up, take my money. The boys sneak into the club after, let's just say, the brothers steal their $5. Of course, the boys sneak in, which of course, through the vents, are to take the ice cream, but unfortunately they end up like a little mayhem, like stuck in the ice, like, stuck in the meat locker until they almost got cooked by the shove, but they managed to escape. And go to the vent until the brothers notice and use a firefly to roast the vents, which of course mayhem starts, and of course Ruby and Crooks find the boys and chase them all over. During the chase, the fairy caught fire, and then begins to flood. Cuphead and Mugman apologize for each other's ice cream. Touch, the Frog Brothers settle their feud with the brothers as well. However, the peace is short-lived with Ruby and Crooks as they return to Argreen, while Cuphead and Mugman enjoy their ice cream as brothers. Jesus. Oh boy. There were other episodes, but I think episode 5 was pretty cool, called Roll the Dice. And this is our first appearance of King Dice, now host of a radio game show called Roll the Dice. And he has this awesome theme song. It sounds like the like Minnie the Moocher from Cab Calloway. Remember, King Dice is like Cab Calloway right here, which is portrayed by Wayne Brady. And I think that may make a good choice for that, because face it, if you've seen King Dice, he looks like a Cab Calloway with his style. Of course, we all know he's also the devil's right hand man. Elder Cal prepares to listen to his favorite game show, Roll the Dice, hosted by King Dice. It turns out he uses this as a front to steal souls for the devil, those who won the game. And guess whose first soul was? The poor telephone, after you get his soul back from the carnival, gets taken again from here. Well, there's a sign that says, "Thanks for playing." Cuphead Mugman chases Elder Kell's lucky tire into the city while playing with it. Ended up in the set of the show while Cuphead is unexpectedly selected as a contestant. Which, of course, upon realizing who Cuphead is, while Cuphead introduces himself on stage, King Dice calls the devil while he's taking his little relaxation bath, of course, probably to get his soul. Which, of course, the devil says, "Don't fail me." Cuphead fails the first game, named that too, which, of course, forces King Dice to make a challenge easier for him. Cuphead destroys the dice in his final task and accepts that he has lost. When King Dice still insists that he has won, the audience realize the game is rigged, making Cuphead and Mugman head home. Which, of course, Henchman arrives to pick up King Dice, which, of course, King Dice arrives at Devil's throne room, which, of course... Okay, if you see... Okay, look at the background at the Devil's throne room. Everything's modeled. Everything's not even cartoons. It's all modeled. So if you look closer to the pillars and everything, those are actual models of the set. That's a model set for that scene right there. So and it's actually pretty cool how they nailed the background. See the fire rising. That's cartoon animated. While the whole throne room is rotoscoped. Which, of course, when the devil mentioned that Henchman is a fan of his show, which, of course, Henchman spilled the beans that King Dice screwed up, the devil fires King Dice from the show after being informed that Cuphead lost and substitute him with Henchman. And, of course, we come to number 6, episode 6. My favorite one, Ghosts Ain't Real. And this was this had to be a good horror film, a horror cartoon. Because it focuses on the boys after watching a zombie horror movie and decided to take a shortcut through the graveyard. Which, of course, they started acting like, "Oh, that's no such thing as ghosts. Yeah, we're having fun. Hey, it's getting dark. Oh, yes. Oh, I want to live here. You too? Okay, let's live here. I don't want to leave. Let's go." Ah! Yeah, they start going chicken mode. And of course, we meet our 3 local ghosts. Bored as fuck. Of course, they spot the boys and decide to have some fun. Trapped in the cemetery, Cuphead resolves by spending the night there and tries to calm Mugman down. Tell that ghost ain't real. Of course, the ghosts hear that and say, "Oh, we ain't real." And dumb one said, "We're not?" Until he gets slapped in the face by the short one. It's like a Three Stooges gag right there. Of course, They split up, teasing the boys until they managed to realize ghosts are real, that his musical number called Ghosts Ain't Real was actually catchy. We have some references like from the loathsome ghost from the Mickey Mouse cartoons to the skeleton dance, which is actually pretty cool. And also, you see different kinds of ghosts, including some are basically like Disney cartoon ones, but hey, it's actually pretty cool. And here's the dark part. They shoot through the cemetery. Eventually, the boys fall through the window, and seemingly to their deaths, which the ghosts are horrified and very sad at the thought of Cuphead Mugman being dead. When they turn around, they're gone, which of course they escaped, while not noticing they recover and quickly escape back home. When they arrive home, Elder Kettle mistakes them as zombies and due to the ripped clothes and beat the shit out of them, which, are you kidding me? Well, yeah, you can tell the difference from two cups after escaping from ghosts to the living dead. Jesus. I don't know. There are other episodes, including the root pack, which features the vegetable pack from the bosses from the game. We got the carrot, the onion, and the potato. And of course, Sweater Off Dead. This was a two-parter because this is the one where the devil's still after Cuphead's soul, which introduces a certain demon called Stickler, who is the accountant. And the annoying one that gives the devil a major headache, and to the rest of everybody in Inkwell Hell. There's also Dangerous Mugman, which of course, Cuphead Mugman, Burst and Porkrind, to play some pinball, of course, one piece. Porkrind convinces to get a package for him at Mount Eruptus, which of course Mugman is afraid, but of course Cuphead gives him his Dirt Danger Card, which makes him brave, yeah. Dirt now with another one, which of course Mugman think Elder Cow is too old, but instead they talk about their pet worm. And of course, the final episode for season 1 was called In Charm's Way, Part 1, which brings the titular character, Miss Chalice, into the stage where after the boys accidentally break Elder Cow's glasses while trying to steal some cookies. While to see to repair them, they encounter Miss Chalice, a con artist who charms her way into getting free stuff by singing and tap dancing. Which actually worked because she's adorable. Which of course the boys pursue her, wishing to know how they do it as well. I think because she's a girl and does it better than boys, especially you guys have their more. Up soon, they bring it to a cookie factory. Unfortunately, for cookies, but Miss Chalice actually sets the alarm off, and the police surround the factory. Panicking, the boys accidentally knock themselves out, and when the bee police closing in after successfully trying to wake them up, it turns out Miss Chalice reluctantly abandons them, and then turns herself, assuming a ghostly form to escape, which, of course, that begs the question when we saw that. Are you kidding me? You tell me she's fucking dead? And when the police corner the brothers, they try to charm them, but of course they fail and throw in the Hooskow. Now it leads to season 2 with Jailbroken, which is part 2 with the boys in jail, which of course they try to escape but without success, which of course Mugman doesn't decide to give up and just accustomed to jail life, while Cuphead attempts to escape multiple times but ends up in the electric chair instead a bunch of times, which wait, what? If you end up in the electric chair, are you supposed to be dead? Which of course turns out Mugman had a plan the whole time because they try to get out through the laundry boat. Which of course they're discovered by Miss Cyclops, who's a prisoner, who is the most feared prisoner in the jailhouse, but proceeds to help them escape after attaching them to her ankle shackle and hurl them home. The second they arrive, Elder Carol tells the boys about that friend they had. Their friend Miss Chalice stopped to return his glasses, and they are grounded for breaking them. Which the boys graciously accepted, knowing it's better than being stuck in jail. Then we have the third part, Charmed and Dangerous. After a failed attempt to use Chalice's charming tricks to make Elder Cal give him his cookies, Cuphead and Mugman argue about the friendship with Miss Chalice until they realize that she didn't abandon him on purpose after learning that she returned Elder Cal's glasses, with Mugman refusing to admit it. Of course, Miss Chalice arrives on the run from an angry mob of people who are chasing her to apologize to them, while the brothers explain that they were in jail and the three reconcile. After a long day of having fun by stealing Elder Cal's car and going to a dance contest, the trio encounters an angry mob again. Mama tries to reason with them, which of course it didn't work. Despite her scams, Chalice has made them happy. However, an attempt to prompts the mob to attack the boys as well. But before they can do so, Miss Chalice assumes her ghostly form and successfully scares the shit out of them. Which, of course, she tells the boy that she's laying low for a while, of course, but promises to see them again soon and scares the shit out of them, causes them to faint. Then we have episode 3, a high seas adventure, where, while walking up the docks of Inkwell Isle, the boys encountered a pirate ship which belongs to Captain Brinybeer, who is one of the bosses in the game. Which, of course, Calvin wants his high seas adventure to be a pirate. Of course, Briny agrees, but to help him on his quest to find his crush, Cala Maria, another boss in the game. If you don't remember her, she's the big ass mermaid who turns into a gorgon in the boss fight, who's a half gorgon, half siren creature. Known for turning anybody, she sets her eyes to stone. Of course, when they arrive at her to the area, they see a bunch of wrecked ships with a bunch of people turned to stone, which the models here look pretty damn good. And of course, they meet Cala Maria, which, okay, what do you see her rising? The dark silhouette, including the red eyes? Jesus. Of course, let's just say Brinybeer, this is between a man and a woman. With regards to her height, you can hear Brinybeer with a high-pitched voice say, "Hello! Hello, Cala Maria, it's me!" Which Cala Maria responds, "You talk too much." And he turns him to stone right in the spot. Well, the first to turn to stone was his parent, but then him. And she managed to swing the ship, which caused the boy to land on her island. Of course, they have to keep this promise, which of course carry Brinybeer's petrified stone body, which of course they accidentally end up breaking his legs. Literally, instead, they replace his feet with peg legs. Which, now we know how he got those peg legs from. These two goofballs broke them. Soon they managed to sing it to Cala Maria's lair, where you see her singing Carmen, her version of Carmen, that she wants her to be the ultimate sea beast and terror of the seven seas, which of course, Mugman being memorized by her singing voice, which of course, when he's about to enter his name, she calls him lunch because, well, yeah, snack time. Which of course, they bring him Brinybeer's body, which Cala Maria is actually memorized of the gift that Brinybeer gave her, a box full of fish organs and other fish that she actually likes. Which, of course, she feels bad that Brinybeer is turned to stone and kisses him as a sweet gesture before she starts about to eat Cuphead Mugman. Brinybeer he unstoned himself back to human form with peg legs now after Mugman broke them off, as his act of love for her. Which, of course, Cuphead's face who are you again? Until they ran out the date. They went, of course, despite this, she still likes him, but the problem is, she rejects Briny as a boyfriend because she wants to focus on her career as a sea monster then. Which, of course, she gets a chance since you're nice, I give you 10-second head start before I eat you. And you see that face she makes because, okay. Run! You see her face. Snack time. Yuck. Of course, I think Mugman throws Calmer's gift away to save everyone. Of course, she falls it. The crew escapes back to shore, but they try to get the boat out. Which, of course, when Briny Beer blows a kiss at her. Okay, you see her face. She actually likes him, and blows a kiss back, which, of course, a gust of wind from the kiss she blown forces the ship off the rocks, which, of course, they manage to escape free. Well, of course, before Cuphead slips off the ship, Mugman and Briny Beer agree that he finally got his high seas adventure. Jesus fuck. That's a bit crazy, ain't it? And we got an episode which there was also called Sweet Temptation, which is a parody of Hansel and Gretel. Which, of course, Cuphead had to be told to learn of resisting temptation after eating Mugman's leftover Halloween candy. Okay, if you see Mugman eating candy, he eats candy like it was a fancy dinner, literally, like savory. It's so nougaty. Jesus, this is actually pretty funny. That's when Cuphead sees a giant peppermint candy, which lures them to a world titled Manzoni called Sugarland, which, dude, okay, I'm always a sucker for these rotoscoping because the background looks so cool, the models they design. And of course, we encounter the ruler, Baroness von Bonbon, who's another boss from the game, which of course allows them to eat anything here, but under two conditions. Rule 1, never tell anybody about Sugarland, and number 2, don't eat her castle. Which of course he disagrees and he leaves. Which of course, hey, he learns to control himself. But of course, let's just say the Baron is a bit unhinged for some reason. Which of course, she mentions something about witch's curse, but says, "Oh, that's for another time." Which of course, Cuphead broke rule number 1 by telling Mugman about Sugarland. Which of course, they go wild crazy, like eating everything until Cuphead tells Mugman not to eat the castle. Which of course, Mugman broke rule number 2, eating the fucking castle. Of course, the brothers indulge so sweet. Of course, yeah. Fortunately, the Baroness caught them, which of course, remember, she says she does not eat disgusting children, only sweet treats, which is candy. But until the boys started to turn into sweet treats, I think Mugman, Cuphead turned into a gingerbread, and Mugman turned into a gummy bear. That's where we see the Baroness as a cannibalistic witch, and see the castle turn to life. Which, of course, the castle's alive and start chasing them until they get into a peppermint that was rolling, which gained more speed until that guy got knocked off. And then, Mugman had to help him because, he's a cookie. It's pretty hard to get up if you're a flat cookie. They managed to escape, but of course, the Baroness mentions that they'll be back. Of course, they managed to escape Sugarland, but of course, retain their candy form, which caused Elder Kettle trying to eat them. Oh boy. There were other episodes which they got me interested though. There was one called Dead Broke where unexpected reunion, Cuphead, Mugman, and Miss Chalice get some ice cream, which, of course, let's just say Miss Chalice shows them about her ghostly powers, like possession was actually pretty funny. Of course, due to not having money, of course, they decided to scam as a ghost removers. The first they chose was Sally Stage Shine, who was one of the bosses, and Miss Chalice haunts the shell of her until They start scamming people for money by getting rid of Miss Chalice, who pretending to be a ghost. That's when they go into this old mansion, which of course they end up more than they bargained for one day. Intentionally release the ghosts of quadruplet vulture sisters, which of course, which their names below respective picture frames, who have been trapped inside them for years and want to switch places with them before the clock strikes 12. Soon, chaos ensues, and each of the sisters trap each one in the portrait until they find, which of course, destroying the portraits, which became a bigger problem. Which of course, Chalice appears in her ghostly form and traps the quadruple sisters in a single frame as the clock strikes 12. Cuphead, Mugman, and Chalice prepare to get some ice cream, only to discover that the piggy bank is missing and is revealed to have been accidentally trapped in the frame with the sister. I think that's karma for you. You try to scam people for money, pretend to be ghosts, well, there's karma for you. That's with the sisters. And they're actually holding the piggy. As do. But there were a lot of good episodes, but I think the season 2 finale was called The Devil's Pitchfork, where after his reputation in Inkwell Hell goes ruined due to his missed the deadlines before Cuphead's soul dip expired, the devil decides to have some fun wrecking havoc in Inkwell Isle in an attempt to restore it, but fortunately misplaces his pitchfork in the woods. Meanwhile, Mugman mutilates Cuphead's bike into his turning them into a tandem bike. While the devil is searching for his pitchfork, Cuphead and Mugman finds it, tests it, and have fun with it around Inkwell Isle. But as Cuphead finishes creating a statue of Mugman named Mount Mugmore, a ripoff of Mount Rushmore, the devil arrives and finds out they have the culprits. Cuphead keeps almost giving the pitchfork back and then zapping the devil with it. Which of course accidentally revealed the former's expired soul depth while giving him an infamy, leaving Cuphead and Mugman surprised with delighted, but of course Cuphead still refuses to give the pitchfork back. In rage, the Cuphead says since the Cuphead took something of great value to him, he'll do the same, which of course Cuphead said, "Ha! I don't have nothing of value." That's what Mugman says, Cuphead? Bye. And the devil takes Mugman, kidnapping him, and takes him with him to Inkwell Hell, which leaving Cuphead shocked and devastated that brother's been kidnapped by the devil. And so we finally had season 3, which is part 3, called The Devil's Revenge. Following Mugman's capture, Cuphead sadly returns to the cottage after a word with Elder Kettle, not mentioning the devil. Cuphead decides to find a way to rescue Mugman on his own. Meanwhile, in Hell, while he's in prison, the devil and henchmen argue about what to do with him. Which, of course, the devil bet he can bring his spirits before the clock strikes 12, but henchman turns it into an actual gamble, with the devil having to take henchmen on all expense paid trip to a destination of his choice if the former loses, with henchmen assuring that the devil does not cheat for the good measure. Cuphead devastatingly calls Quadrius, who was on vacation in Hawaii, to tell him that the devil kidnapped Mugman. Cuphead learns about the ancient pitchfork ownership and gains a piece of chalk that can take him to Inkwell Hell. Cuphead goes to Inkwell Hell, terrified about what will happen next. Of course, the devil argues with henchmen about rewinding the clock to give him more time to win the bet after henchmen sees him cheating. Cuphead finally arrives, rescues Mugman, but the devil is alerted by henchmen and chases him through all Inkwell Hell. Cuphead uses the pitchfork to destroy the devil's throne room, and the devil accidentally destroys his soul vault while charging towards them, releasing all the souls again, with Cuphead destroying the soul's tubes and collectors. After a long chase, Cuphead reminds the devil about the pitchfork ownership, and they make a deal for the pitchfork and Mugman rage. The devil angrily forces the duo to get out of Inkwell Hell after the rescue. Cuphead goes to a rebuilt carnival again and play Soul Ball once more. Much more to Mugman's dismay, as it was caused the former debts to the devil, while Henchman goes to Hawaii as he won the bet after Mugman escaped the first place, where he joins Quadrius. Oh boy. But there were other episodes there were some were good, there were some were... But what's the holiday ones actually pretty cool? My favorite one was called A Very Devil Christmas, which... It had to be a parody of the Santa Claus. Because the devil wreaks havoc throughout the holidays. That's until he stumbled upon a choo-choo train set at a toy store. And he heard as a kid for being told by his mother that he didn't get the toys he wanted last year because he ended up in Santa's naughty list. This leads to the devil to ask Henchman how he could get to Santa's nice list, which it was during a meeting where Stickler was talking about this. That's when he mentioned about this, which of course one of the demon imps mentions. I thought he didn't know about the list until he gets vaporized by the devil, which of course he talks to Henchman about it. Of course, the only way to do that is to get in Santa's nice list, which of course gets where the devil goes. Which of course, the devil is not in the nice list because he's exactly nice, because the devil is the kind of list because he's evil. But of course, he follows Boss's lead, which of course he gets to Santa. He travels to North Pole and meets Santa. At first, Santa doesn't know who he is until he mentions his name, which of course, he freaks out because when he mentions the devil, because he's the original evil, which of course he considers this, but fails miserably, which leads Santa to take drastic measures by casting a ritual spell. This is like a holy version of a satanic cult, which of course the devil didn't know something until when he returns back to hell. Upset, that's when he knows something. The devil gradually transforms into Santa himself. Which, of course, when you go back to the North Pole to find Santa ain't there because the devil is Santa. And the elf version of Stickler tells him that you have to do Santa's duties. If you don't do it by end of Christmas Eve, you're Santa forever. Which, of course, they had to explain the rules. Like, Santa has to always be jolly, has to be nice, never mean. He has to eat all the cookies, and also to say all the names of the reindeers, which of course, that's the first thing he screwed up, and the other, he blasted Elf Stickler, because why not? But he turns back his original form, which is actually pretty funny. And of course, the reindeers run off, but of course, Henchman volunteers to be an elf, volunteers to be the reindeer. You gotta love this. This is like a pretty funny. Plus, the design of Santa, look for him like the old cartoons from MGM. You know which one? The one that Santa was checking all the toys until you got this black doll, which always says "Mammy." You know which one? That's like, oh boy, that's a neck collar right there. But of course, soon they manage to follow the rules. Which of course, remember, it's the devil being Santa. You think it's gonna be easy for him to be nice? Soon after that, it does start to cringe when Henchman tells him about the last house, which of course, the last house they go, which is the boys' house. When they arrive, they start guess what? They start to deliver presents until he specifically found that a certain present he wanted was a choo-choo train. Guess it was for Cuphead. They had items in the toy store, and during the times that he was humiliated by Cuphead, the devil schemes to keep it for him, but Cuphead catches him aware that he's doing Santa's duties. Cuphead admits that he hasn't been a nice kid lately, but being able to see Santa in person made it for up. Which, of course, because if you've seen Cuphead through that, he's been strictly bad. But then, due to the devil having a little emotional, the devil relates and ends up giving the choo-choo to Cuphead. As an act of kindness, puts the devil on the nice list. As the devil henchman returns to North Pole, the spell is lifted, but the devil asks Santa if he'll get Choo Choo, but unfortunately Santa states that he received something more valuable, the joy of being nice, which of course pisses off the devil, and he and henchmen leave for equal hell. Which upset, well, the devil's a bit upset. That's why until he's surprised to find a massive train set in his throne room. Immediately, the devil moves, possibly change it, and enjoys his new train set. Believing Santa came true with his promise, but it was actually henchmen who secretly built the train set for him and wishes the devil a Merry Christmas. You can tell that henchman has to be the only guy who's been nice to the devil, literally. I think, okay, if you have King Dice who's the right hand, so henchman's the left hand. And henchman was a random enemy character. If you see the fight with the devil, you actually see him as a random imp, big fat imp. So I think they kind of neat move to, use him as a character development right there. The next episode was called Down and Out, which was episode 8, which of course tells the story about how King Dice, after being fired by the devil, King Dice lost everything, his fortune, his fame, and became homeless, even cooking his own shoe. He initially blames Cuphead for his downfall, since Cuphead had participated in the game and lost, causing King Dice's dismissal. But Cuphead, who plans on becoming an active manager with Mugman, doing a ventriloquism act, offered to become King Dice's manager, and slowly starts to, get things up, starts to fret. Elder Kettle helps him freshen him up, give him a suit, went to start his club in an empty barn. During that time, King Dice soon had a comeback, which became successful, which is a popular song, Roll the Dice, which we all know what song. It's like a parody of Minnie the Moocher, which is actually a full version, which is actually pretty catchy. Of course, meanwhile, in Equal Hill, the devil and henchmen are bored to death after Stickler's ledger presentation, which because something was missing, because in there's hardly any razzle dazzle, any jazz, which of course they decide to go to the Barnhouse Club where they find King Dice. The devil tries to confront King Dice, but he reveals that he's been working on collecting Cuphead's soul and getting his job back this whole time by creating a business contract that will also give ownership of his soul to the devil. However, when King Dice brings it to his attention, Cuphead unexpectedly, nonchalantly declines, revealing that Mugman's ventriloquism act has now unexpectedly more valuable. Devastated, King Dice leaves, but the devil decides to take him back, stating that he would now entertain all demons in equal hell with his talent. King Dice gladly accepts and returns to equal hell, ready to roll. Wow. Oh boy. And yeah. Which of course leads to, this is a 3-parter, which, meaning? This is a 3-parter because it involves Miss Chalice for some reason. Meaning? Well then, to understand how she became a ghost, we gotta go to the first part, which is Joyride, which we know is the first special delivery. The character takes Cuphead and Mugman to the cities for a fun day with initial confusion. We'll go to the expensive sunglasses. Of course, as they leave, Elder Cow tap dances out of the store with Cuphead and Mugman in tow. Immediately, they reveal that Miss Chalice possessed Elder Kettle to take the boys to the city. The trio thinks nothing of it and decides to continue their fun, leaving Elder Kettle behind, having no memory of what happened. They drink root beer, play pranks on the townspeople by possessing them, making them tap dance. Finally, they go to the amusement park and try to get their fortunes, but Miss Child's fortune turns out to be a calling card from the devil. She hides from Cuphead and Mugman by asking them if they wanted to get some cotton candy, and lies by telling them to go on ahead and that she'll catch up. However, she goes to a back alley and where henchman greets her and escorts her to Inkwell Hill, where the devil wants to talk to her when she has figured out from the card. And why would this happen? This leads to part 3. Dance with Danger. We get a flashback from his child's past. When she was a child, she was living in an orphanage under the strict authority of its penguin caretakers, where the orphanage is unhappy and it has strict rules like there's no fun, no music, no everything. And since Miss Chalice is a bit of a that, especially when the caretaker refuses to let her express her love of dancing, she escapes and ends up in the alley. While searching for food, she gets grossed out by bugs crawling on her arm, causing her to perform a short, unexpected dance when making a passerby give her some money for being so charming. Soon, she found her purpose in her life. Miss Chalice spends the next several years charming the citizens of Inkwell Isle to get her things for free. One day, during a performance, she's suddenly run over by a cable car, killing her and sending her soul to Inkwell Hell, where she meets the devil. The devil sways Chalice to make a deal with him, where if she does a random favor for him, she can go get her body back after the deal is made. So Miss Chalice comes back to life, along with gaining the ability to assume a ghostly form, and proceeds to rob the obstacle store, where, of course, this leads from the final episode from Season 1, where they met the boys. After Chalice's flashback concludes, she arrives at Inkwell Hell, meeting up with the devil, who reminds her of the dip favor she owes. The problem is, however, due to the devil having learned that she's friends with Cuphead and Mugman, he revealed that the favor he has made is to betray them, much to Chalice's horror. After trying to eventually failing to distract the devil by dancing with him and getting interrupted by Stickler, Miss Sarah refuses to betray Cuphead and Mugman, but the devil forces her to do it by threatening to kill her. We get this scene where the devil just takes away her mortality, and she slowly to decay, literally right there until she's nothing but bones and a busted porcelain head. But the devil chases her back, as an example what happened to her. The devil tells Chalice she needs to get Cuphead and Mugman to sign a contract that forces the two brothers to owe the devil their soul. However, before Cuphead and Mugman can sign it, Chalice can't bring herself to do it and tells them everything. Enraged, the devil prepares to kill Chalice until she says that at least she will die knowing that she's the best dancer in the world. The devil, enraged by it, and offers her a dance duel when they argue over who's the best dancer in the world. Bringing the residents of Inkwell Isle from the 3 seasons in Inkwell Hell to see in the demonic arena. Hosted by King Dice. Which, of course, after a long duel, Chalice almost wins until she accidentally stumbles upon some marbles that Cuphead gave her as a gift earlier. Just before the devil can finish off Chalice, Cuphead stops him and challenges him to a rock, paper, scissors game to save Chalice, offering his and Mugman's soul to the devil in addition to Chalice's if he loses. The devil accepts, but Cuphead beats him easily even after the devil requests another round, which of course forcing the devil to finally accept defeat for good after being yelled at by an annoyed Mugman, and the henchman tells the devil that he'll make a bath and bubble for him. Inkwell Isle inhabitants celebrate Cuphead, Mugman, and Chalice as heroes. The next month, after not being met by the devil game again, the trio discovers that the devil has opened a casino. This attracts Cuphead's interest into Mugman, and Chalice's dismay as they pursue Cuphead to the casino, which supposedly leads to the events of the original game. So, in other words, will Season 4 be more like in the game from 2017? Like, they have to beat all the people that they met to get their contracts from the devil so they can free their souls. Holy shit. This is going to be interesting. So, will this lead to the game? Because, hey, it could be interesting, though. But with Miss Chalice. Because if you know in the game, they met Miss Chalice, but she was more older. Because she was like a more older woman than her childlike form in the DLC. And here in the show as well. As reception on Rotten Tomatoes, it had a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, with 17 critics gave the first season a positive review, which of course, besides critical consensus is, while the Cuphead Show fluidly recreates its video game forebear iPop animation, this good-looking vessel is still waiting for some substance. Metacritic weighed the score on 6.9 based on the review from 4 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. The Escapist noted that fans and critics have been left disappointed by the series due to its lack of substance and short nature, but the target audience is children and kids who will discover a bouncy, energetic cartoon, probably what here incredibly entertaining. Rafael Montemayor of IGN rated the series 9 out of 10, saying the Cuphead Show Season 1 delivers memorable characters, surreal humor, and beautiful animation, and a fantastic adaptation of the video game. As for awards, it received in 2022 the Children's and Family Emmy Awards for Individual Achievement in Animation, and another one for the Annie Awards back in 2023 for Outstanding Achievement for Music in an Animated Television or Broadcasting Production. But yeah, folks, to me, I think the Cuphead show is pretty good. I think for the 4th season, this might lead to the game, because it indicates they were heading towards the casino. So I think the 4th season will lead them to the game, where Cuphead plays crap, dies, which of course we all know what happens after that. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Cuphead Show. Did you like this when it came on Netflix? Are you waiting for when Season 4 will be announced? Like they did mention back in May of this year, they're preparing to do a Season 4. So yeah, so we got something there. But yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments down below, what was your favorite episode of the Cuphead Show? Comment down below. Let's see. Tell me about what was your favorite episode, who's your favorite character. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video. And remember, our goal is to hit 1 million subscribers, or at least 500k. Because hey, it's already been 11 years. Let's do this for my birthday. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Have a great summer. Stay safe, stay fresh, stay cool. Until then, see you next time. Peace.